This week on Stogie Geeks, we have a interesting cast of characters with an interesting topic that we're going to talk about. It is Fight Week. For those of you who are living under a rock, you would know that there's a big fight this Saturday, boxing versus MMA. We're going to talk about that. Also, we have our stick that we're smoking this week is the Kristoff TAA 49. We're going to talk about that as well. And the Stogies of the Week. Stay tuned.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from Villiger North American Studios, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geeks Show. The hat tip, can we play that?
Yeah, one more time. Can I hear a... Yes!
Yeah!
Enjoy the dirt.
Guests and friends here in studio, including a regular cast of characters, Mr. Joe Hollywood to my right.
How are you?
That's awesome. Joe D's here. Rain Man's here. What's going on, Joe D?
Roundtable discussions.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I am your host today, Joe Hozempa. To my right is Joe D.
What's happening, boys?
Co-hosting the show, and I have an interesting cast of characters here. We have Dan from Kristoff. Always a pleasure when you're in studio.
Good to see you, boys.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
And then we have a very good friend of mine. His name is Jason Richards. And I want to set the table for today's show. This Saturday, first of all, you can't go into a cigar shop without having topics come up.
Yep.
And topics that always comes up are super fights. You know, be it MMA, be it boxing, even in some regions in Rhode Island, you have soccer, super fights, super battles. You know,
Danny Boy's Realm, you get the wrestling.
I love it when it's 9 o'clock in the morning and soccer fans come rushing into the cigar club and they're ready to watch the big game. And this week, Conor McGregor MMA and Floyd Mayweather boxing. And one of the things I wanted to do is take the time out to talk about that and then how that relates to the cigar industry and then how it relates to the brick and mortar cigar shop, because Dan, you have been very successful in a former career with launching cigar-based events around super fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to take you through that, and then in the next episode we'll go through our Stogies of the Week and then do that. And then I can't wait to actually talk about the actual fight. So I want to get right into it. Okay, I want to get right into it. We have my friend Jason Richards right over here to my left, and Jason, like me, has spent some time in the ring and has thrown some blows, and we're going to have a perspective on that, because when I make my fight predictions, it's coming from that experience, not the passion of who I want to win or whichever. You know, that's just how I feel about that. And then Joe D is here and has his input, and everyone's here is excited about the show. So let's just get right to it. Thank you guys all for coming. I'm excited for that. If you have a question and you're watching this live, by all means, you can email joeh@stogiegeeks.com. Give us your feedback and comments on that. That's joeh@stogiegeeks.com. So Dan, take us through the event-based part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did that start? I know it was around a bunch of UFC fights. But,
absolutely.
But take us through how that helped out.
Promoting pay-per-view in retail shops. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I used to manage a cigar shop up in upstate New York. But long story short, when I moved there, it was the same weekend of the Ronda Rousey-Betch Correa fight. This was summer of 15, and I was looking for a place to watch the fight. There was no one around. There was nowhere to watch the fight. I'm like, I'm not really going to buy a $60 pay-per-view just for me. So it occurred to me, I was like, well, no one else is doing it. Why don't I be the one who airs it? One, selfishly, so I can watch the fights. And two, see if it works. Throw something against the wall, see if it sticks. I think part of it, I got lucky. The first fight I promoted as a promoter was the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm fight.
Right.
So I caught lightning in a bottle the first night I introduced it to my customer base, and then the next night was McGregor versus Aldo.
Yep.
So back-to-back 2 fights that
Two
were really
hyped-up fights.
Hyped-up
Absolutely.
fights
Right.
that were really successful for me in terms of business, but also as a fan was super exciting cards. I mean, even on those fight cards, you even had was it Weidman Rockhold? That was an awesome fight too.
Yep.
On that second card. But no, it's kind of a cool thing, from being in the retail side of the business. Sometimes you want to do events for your customers because one, it gets people in the door, but two, you want to do something different, keep them coming back. And I like to do when I was doing retail, I like to do one big kind of blowout for the month, and UFC schedule kind of works for that. You get one pay-per-view a month, except for like December, you get 2, and as long as the fights are good, and really, in the last 2 years, the UFC quality of one, their talent roster, and two, of their promotion has been great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 years, you've had four or five McGregor fights. You had Brock Lesnar come back last July. John Jones Cormier. I mean, it finally happened a couple weeks ago, but the buildup was good. And then you had even Ronda fought twice in that time, which is it draws money. So it's a fun way to bring new people into your business who maybe normally wouldn't walk into a cigar shop and expose them to the culture, but at the same time give something to your regular customer base who, you guys know from being in the cigar shops that fighting and cigars kind of go hand in hand, whether it's politics or it's, really throwing fists. So it's really been a successful thing. It's something different, retailer, especially if you have a cigar bar, it's a great thing to try.
Yeah, I've introduced and interviewed some retail either managers or retail shop owners here on the show, and I always ask, what are you going to do differently? Even the ones that we interview via Skype that are on the other side of the country, where I say, what do you do differently to bring in patrons into the brick and mortar? Because nowadays consumers are, they're always on the internet. They can get all the information here. There's no longer going to your local brick and mortar and picking up a magazine and doing research. Right. Obviously, there's more than 1 or 2 publications, either digital, online, or actual paper. Yep. There's more than one resources for people to get their information. So the cigar consumer is walking into the brick and mortar, and they're either a little bit more educated or a little bit more confused, right? But more importantly, you want to give them an experience to the shop. Yeah. And, I've never got excited about the typical cliche buy 3 get 1, blah blah blah. To me, it's just kind of flat. Yeah, absolutely. So if they all do it, then it becomes flat. Yeah, and
and what's been really beneficial for me, now that I'm on the other side of the counter with Kristoff, is you get to see when you go to shops and you do that. Okay, maybe I could tweak this a little bit, and maybe when I did it for me, it brought some pizzazz because everyone who walked in the door, I'd give them a cigar from. As part of their ticket price, they got a cigar from the company I sponsored with it. So, if someone wanted to, plug a new stick that just came out, or they want to get people onto something, you have 40 to 60 people walking in the door who may have never even smoked your product before go, hey, this is good. Right. And then they go to the humidor and buy it. Right. So it was a great way to get product in hands with, getting around the FDA of giving sticks out because you paid for it. And also, it was a fun way to get people involved with new lines. I had a lot of success introducing Caldwell with that. It launched really well with that. Or even some of the newer line extensions from like Camacho or whoever I was doing, the Drew Estate. And it really works well.
And the customer loves it.
Yeah, and it's not a sales rep, pushing them to buy product. We're here to, if you want to learn more about it, we're here. We'll hang out with you and let you know what's going on. You're here to watch the fight. You're not here to talk to me. But if you want to talk to me, we can do that too. Yeah. So it's
Yep. Yeah, I think it's very innovative. And then also, going back a little bit deeper, you actually had 2 levels of participation.
Yes.
For the patron.
Yeah.
So to take us through that rationale,
Yeah.
because when I remember when you calling me and just having our weekly discussions off the cuff, and I remember you telling me the setup, and which you'll explain. I remember saying that is so innovative.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because you're my friend.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because like from a business perspective, from a retail shop perspective, it's so innovative how you did that.
Yeah, it really just evolved. I'd love to say I'm this super, this Paul Heyman like evil genius mastermind of, promotion, but I'm not. We caught lightning in a bottle, and we kind of just kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. It's like, all right, when we first started, we're doing, you get food, you got a cigar, we did some raffle stuff, but then as the shop grew along with the event grew, we had in the back room we had a golf simulator set up, and when they set it up, they also allowed us to toggle back and forth between either using the golf simulator or using live TV. So we were like, well, we could air the fight on this big TV in the back. So it's a smaller room. So what we did is we made a VIP experience where you paid just about what the pay-per-view cost you at your house, and it was limited seating, so about 10, 11 people, and it was those people only, and you got a little swag basket from the retailer. The manufacturer, whether it was, we'd ask Davidoff or Kristoff or whoever, give the guys a shirt or a hat or like a thank you just for coming out, some extra raffle tickets, and it's great for when we had a big fight, especially like if Conor McGregor's fighting, or Ronda Rousey. We were standing room only. So unless you want to get there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and stay till 2 in the morning, you could walk in at 8, 9, 10, have a seat. And what's really cool is, Kathleen, who's the owner of the shop, she really evolved it herself too. They have a patio that goes off the back of the shop. And what they did is they added stanchions, so it's all roped off, the whole back part of the patio. There's a grill there, so the guys can bring their own steaks and grill and have a whole dinner. It's great from running a shop side where you cut out, you don't have to cook. You let them do it on their own.
So you give them their own tailgate.
Yeah, it's just for them. If you don't have a VIP ticket, you can't get in, and they sell out probably whenever tickets go on sale, whether it's a month or 2-3 weeks before the fight, they're gone that day.
Yeah,
and it's a great way, honestly, to pay for all your expenses for pay-per-view for businesses isn't cheap.
Sure.
So any way you can add dollars before you even start the fight, that's a big deal.
Yep. And then the VIP tickets they got tailgate, they got to do whatever they want. Yeah. They got a swag bag full of trinkets and stuff like that. So it was well worth their money invested.
Absolutely.
Into the experience.
Yeah, and it gave me the ability to flex the price based, just like any other sporting event. I could flex the price depending on what the draw was. If it's Conor McGregor, you're paying at least $100. If it's Demetrius Johnson versus any other flyweight, it's going to be $50. Depending on the demand, just like any other ticket sales, that's how it worked.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Checking in on these Kristoff TAA. What do you think, Joe?
I'm enjoying the format of the Salomon format. This is pretty good stick so far.
This is an amazing stick. This is
kind of getting caught up in it.
Yep. We're smoking the TAA 49. The Salomon, it's a 7x56 ring gauge. Strength is it's ranked as medium. I'm going with real tasty medium.
Yeah, about that.
It's so tasty, and later on in the show we'll get into what we're getting into. But the wrapper is a Honduran Habano Criollo. Getting good at that.
Yep.
Right? The binder is Dominican Habano. The filler is Nicaraguan Habano. Can really, really taste those highlights as well there. And also within the filler is the Dominican Habano. So it's got some Nicaraguan Habano in there, and it's got Dominican Habano in there. You know the story of this cigar?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, we released the TAA. Not TAA, just a regular Salomon. It was called the Vintage Salomon. It was on the market for until we sold out of it. Really,
it was ridiculous.
It was a great cigar. Jared, when he was still a rep, he gave me one of those, and man, as a retailer too, man, they moved. It's a tasty cigar that really sold, and we ran out of the tobacco, so we stopped production on it. And this year, in the spring, they were looking for something new to do for TAA, TAA retailers. And I guess going through some stuff in the factory, I think they found some of the tobacco, and I think Jared decided, hey, I think he had a conversation with Glenn, was just like, look, man, let's bring this back. And so it's a TAA exclusive now. So TAA retailers, you can pick it up. But, it's a pretty similar blend to what it was before. But it's just an excellent stick.
It's so tasty.
Yeah,
it's like I smoke Kristoff rather infrequently, and it's just one of those things where it's like, wow, it's just such an amazing stick. You did give one to Paul, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. He'll probably do it for one of his Stogies of the week.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Like, smoke off the bat it's just amazing. As soon as you light it.
Yep.
I'm digging the size.
Yeah.
I'm digging the size. I'm digging the way it feels. Digging the retro hail. Did you do the retro hail yet, Joe?
No, I haven't. No.
You did?
This is a smoke and stash. You grab them all from weekend, stash them away, and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, not me. I would smoke
Yeah.
till they're gone. But
Yeah. I'm a huge sucker for the Salamone size, man.
Yeah.
The Davidoff Royal Salamone's excellent. Any Salamones, the LFD has a great Salamone too. But I think we really hit it out of the park with this one. So if you haven't had it yet, go to your TA retailers and pick this up because you won't be disappointed.
Those previous Salamones, I scoffed a bunch of them up.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
one I came across, and I plan on stashing them. I smoked through every one of them.
Yeah, one of my good friends, Sean, is it's not just because I'm the rep, but he's a diehard for the Salamone. And in my travels over the last 8 months, I've hunted up and down every shop in the Northeast, and it took me 8 months to find 5. So
there it is.
It's
Treasure hunt.
They're treasure hunt for sure. But now TA retailers, you can find them regularly. So pick them up.
And then once you find them, the price point is
It's
way
very
in
fair.
line.
Very
it's
fair.
so fair.
Yep.
It's one of those things where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, it's a TA exclusive.
Absolutely.
Here we go. I'm going for a little bit of a ride,
Yeah.
right? But no, it's definitely a good price point
to
too.
get a TAA exclusive and also a Salamone under $20.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
No.
So
So unicorn status.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, for the quality of the cigar too, it's a great price point. It's a great stick.
Right. Right.
Love it.
Right. Jay,
Yes.
McGregor, Mayweather. Let's get into the fight.
Okay.
Let's do it. Comments when you first heard about the fight.
It wasn't going to happen.
Boy, that's me. Okay, next question. Okay, that's it. On our next episode, right? No, but that's actually a very good point because because there might be that sort of theme as this podcast goes on with my opinion. I'm still not 100% sold that.
I'm in.
That it's 100% going to happen.
Yeah.
There's
Too much money, man. Too much money.
Within any fight.
That's why I'm in. That's why I'm in.
When I first heard about the fight, they had 69 days.
Yeah.
So this is a very important aspect for the training. So in the event that this Saturday that this fight does kick off, they've had 69 days with travel.
Yep.
For a fighting camp, right? Any good fighting camp, you need how many days? At least 90.
8 weeks. Right?
Yeah, you need. They're almost there, but they're both masters of their craft,
Yep.
right? Let's just face it. When it comes to boxing, defensively, Floyd, amazing, right? Master in his craft. And then also, when it comes to Conor, master in his craft, amazing path he's been right about a couple fights before Jose Aldo on. He's really come to
and
as a fighter.
Not for nothing.
For sure.
And 5 years ago, he was collecting welfare checks.
Sure.
In Ireland.
There you
And
go. Sure.
now he's about to fight for the biggest purse in
Sure.
combat sports.
So many storylines involved.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a common theme in the fight game, right?
Yeah.
Even in the early '90s and '80s, when you used to, all the fighters with some money, they weren't really that good. You know what I mean? It's always the fighters that have that just lay it all out and then go out there. What did you think when you first thought about the fight?
Honestly, as a promoter, I saw dollar signs. You know,
He was like, "Yeah, we got this."
No, I mean, for me, like, this has been talked about, murmurings for about a year after the Diaz 2 fight, you know, where he really, for one, where Conor showed some real boxing skills, I guess.
Sure.
But, you know, it's also the hype train was flowing towards
Tremendous. Yeah.
both sides.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Floyd was kind of talking about it. You know, you'd see your TMZ stuff, and it's fun to talk about. But, you know, and then especially after he knocked out Alvarez and won the lightweight title. Now what? You know, realistically, when you look at who is in, you know, rankings for the lightweight title, I mean, besides the Diaz trilogy, yeah, there's a lot of great fighters in the lightweight division, like Khabib and Tony Ferguson, but, like, there's no draw. There's not a lot of draw. So, like, it made sense.
Super fights or outside of the
It made sense.
GSP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made sense promotionally that this is the biggest thing we can do. I thought, you know, for me, I'm like, same as you guys. I was like, is this really going to happen?
Right.
As a WWE guy, loved it. You know what I mean? Because I love the promotional side. I love the mental warfare game. I love the press conference. And I wanted to, you know, we were at the show and the press conference started, and I'm like, all right, how am I going to watch it? And two, you know, what are they going to say to each other? And I don't think, you know, depending on who you talk to, I don't think they're disappointed in terms of hyping it up. It got a little weird, but, you know, it's fun. You know, summer, man. We want to have a good time.
Yeah. What did you first think?
Oh, absolutely the same. I you know, grew up a boxing fan first, and then you know, lifelong MMA guy. You know, MMA. That's where I'm at right now. I'm really down with. I want McGregor to win, but Mayweather's skill set, throwing the sneakers on, running around, this could. You know, I'm such a UFC guy, but I'd like to see boxing back on the map where it needs to be. More prominence. This would be huge. It's gonna be big on both ends, and I just love these great events like we were talking earlier. This is where it's at. You know, I've been stoked for weeks leading up. The entire week's gonna lead up to the event. What we're doing for the day, what we're smoking, where you're at.
You frequent a lot of cigar shops. It's coming up, right? A lot of people talk about it, like wherever you go.
With legit politics and worldly issues going on.
Sure.
All that is pretty much taking a back seat to. In the lounges, the event itself this is big. Yep. The fans want it, and I just hope it kicks off. Hope we're not tabled.
Right. Jay, what do you think, boxing or MMA?
As far as this fight goes, or moving forward, big picture?
A little bit of both.
One, I think the UFC is kind of leveled out a little bit.
Yep.
I think boxing's making a comeback. Not just this fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G is going to be huge. Huge, and it's going to be an actual boxing match.
Right.
This particular fight's just big based on who's fighting. So you have Floyd Mayweather going for 50-0. It's a record in boxing. And Conor McGregor's trying to take him down. But my head goes, the boxer is going to win the boxing match.
Right. So you think the boxer is going to win the boxing match?
Yes.
Okay.
I was at a family cookout yesterday, and I was talking with my uncle who trains boxers. He's got the number 2 fighter in the world for under 18-year-olds. And you can't convince him that Conor McGregor is even going to be able to step in the ring. I don't think it's quite that far. I think the old school boxing people really, really stick with Mayweather. I think Conor McGregor has a little more shot than that, but not much.
Okay.
Not much.
Okay. Awesome. Jimmy, are you all mic checked?
You can check it now.
Absolutely. Just go a little bit closer. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. We have a special guest today, Jimmy Birchfield from Classic Entertainment and Sports. Obviously, big super fight this week. It's a busy week for you. So thank you for taking the time out to be with us today.
Thank you.
Want to talk a little bit about your event that you have coming up in lieu of this super fight, but I also want to get your take on you are obviously a boxing promoter and an MMA promoter. You've been around the game for, I don't even know how many years.
25.
25 years, right? Take us through all of your thoughts, what you think.
Well, I was listening to our guest there speak about McGregor and Mayweather. As a boxing promoter and MMA promoter, we are one of the only national promotional companies that have both boxing and MMA. We've been in boxing for 25 years. We've been in MMA for going on 6 years. We've got a nice setup with Mark Cuban and one of his promotional companies, TV companies called Access TV. And they show all of our MMA events. And we've gone to the moon with the MMA side because at the beginning of this, I was a little resistant of maybe thinking, well, what is this going to do to our boxing? And then I realized that it wasn't just a carnival act. It was real. And what the UFC has done has been amazing. It's a little different in MMA than boxing because we're not allowed to do certain things that you can do in MMA and you can't do in boxing. So when we finally got our team together, we opened up our MMA division, we went to the moon because most of these promotional companies were doing MMA, but they were never regulated. They'd be, doing bouts in a cellar somewhere or in a bar room somewhere. One guy 200 pounds fighting a guy 160, no medicals, no nothing. Well, we've been regulated for over 25 years, so we know what had to be done. So as soon as we put our division together, we went to the moon, and we bypassed everyone in the Northeast area in MMA by far. And consequently, I'm kind of excited about this. I'm excited because what it's doing, and I hope some of your listeners, I'd love to get someone who really, really thinks McGregor has a chance. And I'd like to get a boxing person who wants to talk about why he doesn't have a chance. One thing McGregor has done that in any of his losses, it's been on the mat. Never has he lost standing up. Okay? I heard Floyd, and we have a relationship with Floyd. His father and I have a relationship, and consequently, he said something the other day, and I hope he stands by this. A lot of people are turned off with this fight because they think it's going to be another appearance of Pacquiao and Mayweather.
Sure.
Which was no fight. It was bad for the sport.
Yep.
Holding, dancing, a fan, a person that is going to spend $79, $89. This fight is $99. And they're going to take money from their rent, their insurance, or whatever. They want to see a real fight. Well, Floyd said, I owe it to my fans that I'm going to fight this fight. I'm going to come out as the aggressor. I'm not going to be against the ropes. I'm not going to be holding. I'm coming out because I owe it to my fans on what happened with the Pacquiao fight. I'm hoping he's right. McGregor, I'm hoping to see him, even if he gets called for a foul, to come out with his elbows and everything else and just be the aggressor. Floyd hasn't seen that aggressiveness.
Sure.
And yes, if we take, listen, we couldn't take a boxer and let him fight MMA. He wouldn't have a chance in the world.
Yep.
Okay? This kid McGregor can punch.
Absolutely.
Okay? And consequently, I applaud him on how he lobbied and marketed for this fight, where he's going to end up making $75 million for the fight. Sure. I applaud him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Bad day.
So it's not a bad day. It's not a bad day. So he better come to fight.
Yeah.
He
Right.
deserves to come to fight. Okay? So consequently, it opened up some things in our division. So we signed an MMA fighter. And consequently, we didn't have in the contract that you couldn't go box or do Muay Thai or any of this stuff. We do now. Because I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see more and more of it with the elite.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that both of these fighters are for real because, listen, the public is what's going to buy this.
Absolutely.
And they got to be entertained. If they're going to spend $100 to see this fight, whether it's 5 or 6 people doing it at home. But let me tell you about what we got.
Okay.
So because we got these two divisions, we need the MMA people to buy into this.
Right.
We need the non-combat sport fan to buy into this. So we went to the wonder of it all, Foxwoods Casino, and we said, listen, let's do a partnership. We'll put 8 live fights together. Then we'll have a private preview of the McGregor and Mayweather fight. And we got it done. So Saturday night for $55, you can see 8 live fights, and then you can see the private preview of the Mayweather McGregor fight. We're very excited about it. Tickets are on sale now, and basically, I think it's going to be a good fight. On the actual card, we've been looking. Listen, the heavyweight division in boxing, and even MMA. We just had a fight a couple of weeks ago, August the 11th at Twin River Casino, and our main fight was a heavyweight fight for our heavyweight title for the CS MMA. So let me tell you a little bit about how it differentiates. We had the Muhammad Ali Act that we got to follow certain things. You can't be a manager and a promoter in boxing. It's against the Muhammad Ali Act. We can't rate our own fighters in boxing. We can't be our own sanctioning body. Well, in MMA, you are.
Right.
The UFC says, we're fighting for the world championship. This is a world championship. Well, it's not a world championship. It's their sanction. They're rating their fighters. Okay? I didn't get into this business in the MMA world to be a little mosquito. I got into this. They got a major. They've done tremendous. Okay? But it isn't fair that you feel that you can rule everything and no one else has a chance of stepping up to the plate. So this is the reason why we're working hard with this. So I can make you number 7 in my MMA and the CES sanction body.
I'd be worried about that.
Well, I could. well, I know, but then I can make you number 6, and I say, I'm going to match you 2 guys up, and you're going to fight for our interim title, and then you're going to fight the winner for our regular championship title. So consequently, every MMA fighter looks up that they want to be in Bellator, they want to be in UFC, okay? They should come and see our fights. We've got a great series at Twin River Casino. It's on fire. We take a young MMA fighter that wants an opportunity. We got this kid, Gary Tiger Boletto. It's a great story.
Junior?
Yeah, his father was a boxer. We brought him to the mountain, high up the mountain, on TV and everything. And it's too bad that he got paralyzed in an unfortunate accident. And he wanted his son to box. And his son tried to box. He said, "Dad, I don't want to box. I want to be an MMA fighter. That's what I want to be." He almost stole the show on August the 11th. He had another great victory. And I think one of the things this has allowed us to do, like on this show on Saturday, August 26th at Foxwoods, for some of the boxing people who understand boxing and have followed boxing, there was a fighter that was a very, very tough fighter. We brought him to the World Championship in the WBC. His name was Scott the Sandman Pemberton. He fought from New Bedford. Go back and look at his films.
Sure.
2 of the greatest fight of the year were at Foxwoods Casino, where we're going to be on August 26th, Saturday night. Well, guess what we got? We got another surprise. His son is going to be making his pro debut on that card.
Awesome. Wow.
So it's. I say sometimes.
How old's his son now?
His son?
Yeah, it's going to be 19 maybe?
Oh, no, he's a little older than that because he did 2 active duties overseas.
Wow.
He was it's a great story.
I remember,
he was a heck of an athlete. He was a great football player.
I remember when I was boxing at Rhode Island Boxing Gym. And
my friend Tiny Richie.
Tiny Richie, God bless Tiny, is awesome.
I think of him every day.
The last time I saw Scotty Pemberton's son, he was probably.
Oh yeah, me too.
He was a little kid with these big boxing gloves.
Yeah,
and then he would go, "That's my dad." Like he would be like, "That's my dad." He'd be in the bag. He was like probably like 3 or 4.
Right. And I said to him the other day, "Do you punch like your father?" He said, "Yes, I do." And his father could punch.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
So now we're giving him the opportunity on this card at Foxwoods Casino to make his pro debut.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting a kid from Virginia.
Okay.
And, we're looking forward to that. We have, Sucre Oliveira. His son is fighting September 16th for us at Twin River Boxing.
I saw his son in the PAL gloves a couple years ago.
Prince Ray Oliveri.
A lot of promise.
Yeah, he does.
A lot of
He's
local
very,
promise.
very,
Yep.
but he's fighting a very tough fight on September 16th. He's fighting a kid by the name of David Wilson, who's undefeated from Connecticut. So it's going to be a great card on September 16th at Twin River also.
So if they want more information on what CES does, it's still two sites, right? CES Boxing and CES MMA?
Yes.
Yep. So it's cesmma.com or cesboxing.com. You can get all the events, purchase tickets, ask questions for them, check out the events. The events at Twin River are really awesome events. I mean, you pack them in for sure.
I think what we try to do is listen, it's a night of entertainment. Beside the fights, we need to entertain you, okay? In every way, whether it's pretty looking ring card models, whatever it be, we want you to go home and say, when is the next event?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
we don't want ballerina fight. I mean, consequently, if you know before the fight starts who's going to win, well, it's not going to increase our fan base. People want to see real fights. What's amazing between the MMA and the boxing, everyone wants to be an MMA fighter. Okay? The inventory for MMA fighters is crazy. We lose a fight, we can fix it up in 2 hours.
Sure.
In boxing, the boxing gyms that we had about 35 of them in Rhode Island. We probably got maybe 5 or 6 right now.
Right.
So that's the difference. But it keeps. I think that when everyone says Jimmy Birchfield's classic entertainment in sports, what I have developed is what I believe is one of the best teams in this sport. We have a great, intelligent. We do all our matchmaking ourselves. MMA side is by Pat Sullivan. The boxing side is by Mike Parenti. My son Jimmy Jr. is our legal counsel. And he's getting this little bug for both of these sports right now, and I'm happy that he is. So we got a great team in putting these events together, too.
If I could interject for 1 second.
Please do. By all means, yeah.
Thank you for the amazing events you put on. I grew up going to Rhodes, all the events. It was a family affair. My old man, my brother,
The glory days when you can smoke cigars in the roads.
cousins, my uncles. It was an absolute event. Phenomenal time. Like you said, we look forward to the next one. Happy Harold Umed. Scotty the Sandman Pemberton. He's one of the guys I grew up
Well, we
watching.
even brought Vinny Paz there for a couple of victories, but we put so many people there, all the neighbors were complaining. So I'd love if Mayor Fung and the people at Rhodes would allow us. This is our 25th year anniversary, and I really would love to do one event there at Rhodes on the Patuxent, because it was a super,
Amazing.
place.
Amazing venue.
As soon as we put the tickets on sale, 75% of the room was sold out.
Yeah, it's the perfect setup. It's got a balcony. Balcony seats.
It's like
it's old school.
For some of you that remember the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia, which was a mecca for boxing in the Philadelphia area, it had that upper riser, and it was great. So we'd love to do another show there.
I think we made a seamless transition to Twin River, Foxwoods as well. Been to both sides, the boxing and the MMA, and you do it up right.
Well, I appreciate that, and without people like yourself that remember them fights and help make the careers of these young guys and girls, I got a girl fighting on September 16th from Connecticut. She's already sold 300 tickets. There's 300 people from New London, Connecticut, coming to Rhode Island at the Twin River Event Center to see her fight on September 16th. She's a nurse, beautiful, and we listen. Nothing makes me happy, even in my restaurant years at the Classic Restaurant, was to get young people and give them the opportunity to go to whatever they feel. Listen, I believe that I could have been a major league ball player. I was a switch-hitting shortstop that could throw you out behind third base and hit with power from both sides. But I didn't have a Jimmy Birchfield. Okay, so consequently, even though I think I could have been, I don't know really if I could have. These young people, I give them the opportunity
Right.
to now it's up to them. The only thing I can't do is get in the ring and fight for them.
And you've had several fighters already that have already made that jump to the
Oh,
UFC.
yeah, positively.
And, it's awesome. Right?
Yeah, positively.
It all starts here. It starts locally, and
That's where it
moves up the
starts.
chain.
And you know what the TV networks love is the local fighter who can fill up their arena. There's nothing like it. I mean, you see some fights on television, there's 50 people there.
Sure.
You know, so, but our job is not only give the fans a good night of entertainment with the boxing or MMA, but to give them a good, like let's just take Twin River Casino. There's free parking. There's inexpensive food courts there. You know, a couple of dollars you can get a hamburger.
Yep.
And then you can go to Fred and Steve's Steakhouse and get a great dinner. And it's
Go to the cigar bar after the fights.
Yeah,
That's always popular.
That's where I end up.
That's where I end up at the cigar bar.
So-
do we have you for another half hour at least?
Positively.
Because I know
Awesome.
you have a tight schedule
No,
this
I'm
week
good. I'm
with
good.
everything.
I'm
okay.
good. I'm sorry I was late.
No, it's
getting
okay.
here.
That's okay.
Pleasure.
Because when we come back, we're going to talk about fight predictions, maybe a little bit of fight dynamics. So stay tuned here on the Stogie Geeks Show.